do not get it twisted when I tell you that I love him. He is the scum of the earth right now as we are meeting him. Hey guys, it's Sarah. Welcome back to another video here on my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. I am filming my second video of the day, and ironically, I think they're gonna come out in reverse order. I just filmed the Vampire Diaries, and now I'm filming Once Upon a Time, but Once Upon a Time goes up first. I don't know why I did it that way, but I did. We are starting season 2 today. I'm very excited about this. My current plan for these videos is for the Once Upon a Time ones to go up every other week. I just think that's gonna keep me sane and also keep me from having to take as many breaks. If you guys are enjoying this series, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already so that you don't miss anything. And without further ado, let's get into this week's bedtime story. So we open in New York City following this guy around Manhattan. He goes back to his apartment and gets a postcard from Storybrooke. It's delivered via carrier pigeon, and all it says is, broken. Keep up with me in these flashbacks, all right? We're meeting new people. Starting with Prince Philip, Aurora, and Mulan. Prince Philip. Can we give a round of applause for this beautiful, beautiful man? I love him so much. He pops up in shows, and I'm just like, yes, Wizards of Waverly Place. Thank you. He uses True Love's kiss to wake up Aurora, but the kingdom has been destroyed. In Storybrooke, the purple mist is slowly fading. Ruby, Granny, Snow, and Charming all reunite. Then the dwarves come and they're like, Your Highness. And when Snow turns to look at them, they all bow and she runs to them and they all start hugging. Snow wants to look for Emma and Emma is standing right behind them. When they turn around, Charming starts crying on sight. Like, as he's turning around, Mans is already crying. He is so important to me. Oh, this moment is so incredible. It's just, there's something about men with blue eyes. When they cry, oh no. So Snow sobs and hugs her, saying, You found us. Charming joins the hug, but Emma is pretty much frozen with shock. Henry comes over and is like, Grandpa? And Charming's like, you know what, kid, I guess I am. Snow starts nervous laughing, which is like the only response in this situation because this is bananas. Then they see an angry mob running through town and Archie runs over and is like, help, they're going after Regina, we have to stop them. So everybody takes off to go to her house. We go to Rumple and Belle in the woods because this was actually his fault, you know. He wants to go after Regina, obviously, and Belle is like, no, I want you to turn against revenge and just focus on being with me so that we can start over and be happy. He promises that he will not kill Regina, but oh boy is he frothing with rage. In the Enchanted Forest, a creature comes to attack them, okay? Mulan senses it coming and starts fighting it. It overpowers her. Philip gets involved and manages to cut off the amulet that it's wearing around its neck. Rumple obviously lied to Belle. So when they get back to the shop, he goes into a safe and with gloves on, carefully removes that same amulet from a box. The mob gets to Regina, but she has her magic, so they're all a little nervous, except when she tries to use it, it doesn't work. So Dr. Whale goes to just strangle her with his bare hands. Charming comes and stops them. Dr. Whale makes a point of being like, you're not my prince, I don't have to listen to you, but he won't tell them where he's from. Wait for that, you're not prepared. So they put Regina in jail for her safety and theirs. She tells them that the Enchanted Forest was destroyed when the curse was broken, so they can never actually go home, there's nowhere to go back to. Gold comes once they've left and tells her that magic is different here, and that's why she can't break herself out. She tries to lie about having held Belle captive, but obviously he knows the truth. They have this very sexually charged moment through the bars. They've got such an unreasonable amount of chemistry. Like, I don't know if they had canoned that something happened between them or what, but something happened there. There's more to this than we're ever shown. He then presses the amulet into her palm, scarring her with it. Which means that poor Philip marked himself with the amulet when he picked it up because he picked it up without gloves on. Mulan explains that it's a wraith, and once it's marked you, it comes to steal your soul. Rumple summons the wraith, and Regina can feel it coming for her through the mark. Snow pushes Emma to talk because she's been trying to do that all episode, but Emma's clearly very uncomfortable and confused. There's this hysterical moment when Snow is like, we've talked about things we probably shouldn't have talked about, like one night stands. And Charming's like, one night stands? And she goes, Dr. Whale, don't ask. And he goes, Dr. Whale? It's so funny. Me too, buddy. Me too. I couldn't believe it either. Emma explains that all she knew for her entire life was that her family sent her away. Snow is like, but it was to give you your best chance. And Emma's like, that may be true, but I was alone my whole life and I've never known love, so I don't really know what to do now that you guys are with me again. She says she would rather have just been cursed with them than grow up alone. Back in the Enchanted Forest, the gang camps. Philip is planning on sacrificing himself and running away. He gives Aurora a goodbye kiss before he goes to get firewood, but he kisses her like he is drowning. Okay, and she is air. It is so romantic. She's like, what was that? That's a goodbye kiss? And he's like, I guess I've just missed you. And then he sneaks off to go sacrifice himself to the Wraith. The Charmings go to Rumple to confront him about risking Henry's life. And he's like, here's the thing. Henry's alive. The curse is broken. And look, Emma, you're reunited with your family. I think maybe you should be thanking me. He admits that the purple haze was magic coming back to Storybrooke, but he won't tell them why he wanted it. Then the Wraith attacks the town. Emma is like, we're not done here, Gold. And he's like, oh, I know that. You still owe me a favor. He's so hot. Oh my God. Belle heard everything, so she comes out and she's like, you lied to me. And he's like, no, actually, I said that I wouldn't kill her. I summoned the Wraith, and now the Wraith's gonna do it for me. Win-win. Belle is like, you toy with words like you toy with people. I thought you changed. And Rumple goes, what, in the hour that you've known me? So she runs off. Regina gets attacked in the jail cell. Charming attacks the Wraith with a metal chair, but it still manages to get to Regina and start sucking out her soul. So Snow hits it with a damn like lighter flamethrower situation, like a homemade flamethrower. Regina lives, but the Wraith is gonna come back and there's no way to kill it because it's already dead. Charming's like, I don't see how that's our problem. Maybe we should just let it kill you. But Emma says that she promised Henry that they wouldn't let Regina die, so they have to figure it out. They need to use Jefferson's hat to make a portal and send the Wraith away. Emma knows that the hat belongs to Jefferson, but Regina is like, I'm sorry, who's Jefferson? So Mulan figured out what Philip was doing. She ran off to go track him down. Aurora followed her even though she didn't want her to. They find him. Aurora also thinks that Mulan must be in love with Philip, but oh boy, she could not be more wrong. Mulan wants to mark herself so that she can be the one taken by the Wraith, and then Philip and Aurora can get back to the safe camp and rule their kingdom, maybe one day. But he doesn't want either one of them to get hurt. He turns to them. We can't tell who he's talking to. He says, I love you. And then the Wraith comes and gets him, and both the girls scream and cry. So the Wraith is also attacking Regina and the Charmings. But Snow and Charming are a 10 out of 10 fighting team, okay? They make like a barrier of fire together. Charming's on one side of it, Snow's on the other. They're both fighting the Wraith. The hat is not working. And then Emma touches Regina's arm and suddenly the portal opens. The Wraith gets sucked in, but it grabs Emma and pulls her down with it. Snow is like, I'm not losing her again. And she jumps in after her. Charming goes, me either. But he can't get over the fire barrier in time and the girls disappear. Mulan gives Aurora the necklace with Philip's soul inside of it. And then they put Philip's body on the little bed, okay, that Aurora was at when we first started the episode. Regina and Charming are left stunned and alone standing over the hat, but she has no idea where they went or if they're alive. He is screaming, crying, throwing up, yelling at her, but it's not doing any good. She now has magic, so she captures him against the wall and is ready to kill him until Henry comes in and stops her. She is truly the scariest when she goes from like using her evil queen voice to being like, oh, hello, Henry, how are you? I hate it. I hate it so much. He doesn't believe that she's sorry about what happened to Emma and Snow, and he doesn't want anything to do with her anymore, so he's leaving, and he's like, you leave me alone. If you want to prove that you're not evil, find my mom and bring her back. Regina is like, where are you gonna go? And Charming's like, he'll come home with me. And the boys leave. Gold's in the shop, spinning straw into gold. Belle comes back, she sees the chipped cup, she realizes he kept it. He tells her that above all the other artifacts in his shop, that's his most prized possession and the one that means the most to him. Then he tells her that she was right, and he is a monster, and she should leave because he's never gonna change. She says, don't you understand? That's why I have to stay. Why do they have to be so toxic? all the time. Charming takes Henry home. They see a picture of Mary Margaret and Emma together. He promises him that no matter what, he will always find them. Mulan has to tell Aurora about the truth, which is that when Aurora went to sleep, that was like 27 years ago. Okay, so Philip and Mulan were looking for her. And then the curse happened and everybody got frozen for 28 years. Everybody that got left behind was frozen for 28 years. They just woke up and finished their hunt and got to Aurora, okay? And then we realized that Emma and Snow got brought over. And when they got brought over, the Wraith got brought over. So this was all happening like kind of at the same time. Make of the sense? It's crazy. The dwarves, because they are the royal guard, have taken it upon themselves to investigate the town line, all right? They push poor Sneezy over because he draws the short straw and he crosses the line and we don't know what happens to him yet. August is still stuck in the hotel turned to wood. Geppetto is looking for him, but he's looking for like little boy August, okay? Pinocchio. The town is very panicked and nervous. Ruby is trying to keep everybody calm, but it's just getting worse and worse. Charming goes to see Regina to get information about the hat, okay? He knows that she must not have her magic or the town would be ashes, and the only reason she's alive is because Henry wishes it, so she needs to behave and answer his questions. She forgot where the hat came from and cannot help him make another portal. She says once she gets her magic back, she'll get Henry back, and Charming is like, if you have to use magic to keep your son, then you don't really have him at all. In a flashback, we see young Regina trying to run away, but she gets caught in a barrier spell. Her mom set it up. Also, her mom's name is Cora. If I haven't told you that yet, that is what her mom's name is. Cora set up a trap, a barrier spell, so Regina can only leave the kingdom with the king. The town is falling apart, as I said, but Charming is focused on getting Emma and Snow. That's his biggest priority right now. The dwarves bring Sneezy back and explain that once you go over the town line, you forget your like enchanted forest self and you are left with only your cursed self as your personality. Charming gets overwhelmed by everybody asking him questions. He's like, I need 2 hours and then we will have a town hall meeting and I will answer all your questions. Regina tries to sneak outside. Archie tries to talk to her to like offer advice and see if she wants a little therapy to go over her pain. She says she knows exactly who she is and she doesn't need any help. Flashback, Regina is doing young Snow's hair for her. Snow finds the ring from Daniel and Regina is like, yeah, because you couldn't keep a secret, my mom killed him. The ring is like on a chain and Regina ends up choking Snow and killing her. But it was a dream, okay? So now Regina's panicking. She tries to explain to her dad that she feels like Cora is infecting her and making her evil, and she's so angry and so sad, and all she wants to do is leave and start over somewhere else. Her dad explains that Cora wasn't always like this, and there was a man that she knew. He doesn't even know his name because her mom never said it. And he taught her magic and that's what made her evil. So in the present, Regina goes looking for her mother's spell book with Rumple at his shop. He tells her if she would just relax, her magic would come back, but she says she doesn't have time for that. They both know the enchanted forest actually still exists, so she knows he must be up to something bigger than trying to get home. He gives her the book to keep her from telling anybody. Flashback, Regina summons Rumple for the first time. He tells her he's been waiting for her. He's so clearly manipulating her, but she is so young and sweet and naive, she doesn't know any better but to trust him. He tells her he's so happy that they're finally back where they belong, together. Charming doesn't know what to do at the town meeting because Snow's the one that always did the talking and he was just the muscle in the relationship. Henry figures out that the hat belongs to the Mad Hatter, but none of them know that the Mad Hatter is Jefferson. So Charming goes to Rumple to buy a locator spell from him. All Rumple wants in return is peace and to be left alone. Rumple is also devastated to find out that if you leave town, you forget who you are. He starts smashing things in his shop the second that Charming leaves. So we can assume that he was probably gonna go look for Bay. Back in the flashbacks, Regina wants to learn magic so that she can help herself and get her freedom. She doesn't want to hurt anybody or kill anyone. So Rumple is like, oh, okay, no problem. He gifts her a looking glass and says that if she pushes her mother into it, then she'll be gone forever and she won't have to deal with her anymore. Regina in the present uses the spellbook to absorb a little magic. Her eyes glow purple and then her apple trees start to bloom again. Regina strolls into the town hall meeting with her magic bag, guns a-blazing, and she's like, I want Henry or I'll kill you all. So Henry agrees to go with her. Charming uses the potion to find Jefferson. He pours it on the hat goes spinning and flies off. He follows it to a car wreck. Jefferson's been in a car accident since the Wraith attacked the town, okay, so he was just trapped in his car. The hat is ruined, so Jefferson cannot fix it, and he does not know how to get it to work, which is very funny because his whole thing for 28 years was trying to get the hat to work. He knows that the Enchanted Forest is still there because he reached through and got the apple, but he doesn't know how to get them back there himself because the hat's ruined. Regina gets Henry home. He immediately runs upstairs. He's already got like a secret escape plan in place. He tries to run through the window. She catches him with the same barrier spell that her mother used on her. He tells her that she made him feel crazy his whole life and she gaslit him into thinking the curse wasn't real and that he was insane. She's like, everything's better now. I can tell you the truth. You can know all the things I didn't think you could know. I can teach you magic. He says that no one will want to be his friends because she's so mean and this isn't the life he wants and he doesn't want to be anything like her. Cora, on the wedding day, finds the mirror in Regina's room and she's so mean and nasty, talking like, oh, the people don't really love you. I don't know what you're gonna do to make them love you, but you're gonna have to be better than you are. You're never perfect enough. She also reminds Regina that the king's gonna die soon, so if she can just wait it out, soon Regina will be queen and she can be in control of everything. Regina says that she doesn't want to hold the people's hearts in her hands. LOL, that's so funny. And she doesn't want to be anything like her mother. She tries to attack her. Cora stops her with her magic. Rumpel shows up in the looking glass and is like, push her in. So Regina uses her magic, okay, for the first time and pushes Cora into the looking glass and she disappears. It also shatters, so she can't get back out. Charming has to stop everybody from trying to drive over the border because after the town hall meeting with Regina, they all kind of lost it and they were like, we'd rather go and forget who we are than stay here with Regina again. He tells them that they can't give up their Enchanted Forest selves or their cursed selves because both of those things make them who they are. Back in the past, Regina tries to run because she was telling the truth. She really and truly wanted her mother gone so that she could get away from the king and start over. Rumpel shows up and he's like, why don't you let me help you? I could teach you magic, I could make you stronger. And she's like, are you sure that I won't turn out like my mother? And he's like, oh my dear, that's all up to you. Charming comes to attack Regina and like take Henry by force, but she tells him that he won't need a sword. She lets Henry go because she says that she doesn't know how to love very well. She's kind of forgotten how to do it and she never really had people teach her. She says that the one thing she remembers most though is that if you hold on too tightly, it still won't make people love you. And she apologizes for lying to him. Charming then asks Regina to tell him the truth about the Enchanted Forest. She admits that it is still there, but she has no idea how to get back, just like Jefferson. The dwarves go down to the mines to start working. Henry sends Geppetto after August, but he finds the hotel room empty. Rumpel is standing on the town line, looking very annoyed. Regina tries to burn her mother's spellbook, can't do it, but she locks it up. So that's a step in the right direction. Charming tells Henry that he can feel Snow and Emma and he knows that they must be alive. We go to the girls in the Enchanted Forest being dragged behind Mulan and Aurora's horses. They get to basically a refugee camp where all the people that are still in the Enchanted Forest have kind of congregated to like start over. Snow breaks them free, but then Mulan knocks her out and they get thrown into a pit with Cora. In the flashbacks this time, we see Snow and Charming in the war camps fighting against the evil king, his dad. They get attacked, they have to split up, but they're gonna meet up at the cabin where his mother is staying. Snow ends up getting snickety-snatched by Lancelot, like from the round table. In the cell, Cora is tending to Snow. She says she's trapped because of what her daughter did. And Emma realizes that she's Regina's mom. Cora lies about being a good guy, but then Snow wakes up, realizes who she is, and is like, whoa, 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 absolutely not. We will not be trusting you. You're a snake in the grass, and I know you're even worse than Regina. Cora says that whatever Regina told them isn't true. Emma wants to hear her out, which is strange, because remember, Emma's superpower is knowing when people are lying. So is Cora telling the truth? Emma and Snow get brought before the camp leader, but it's actually Lancelot, so they're excited to see each other because they're old friends, which is confusing because he captured her. Aurora wants justice over Philip's death, and Mulan is like, you need to be careful. If Lancelot is trusting them, we need to trust them. Lancelot tells them that he doesn't know why they got left behind by the curse, but this is what's left of the Enchanted Forest crew for the most part. He also tells them that leaving the camp is unwise because the ogres are back. Snow says that she thinks she knows about a portal they could use, but she doesn't want to tell them while they're so close to Cora because she knows that Cora is evil. Lancelot agrees to let them go as long as they take Mulan with them. In the flashbacks, Lancelot takes Snow to the king. He offers her water and says that he's not going to kill her. Then he tells her a story about how he once, had a wife and a son, and he loved his son so much because they had to adopt him because his wife had been cursed to never have children. How did she get cursed, you might be wondering? She drank a potion. So Snow looks down at the cup in her hands and is like, oh my God, tell me you didn't do that. And he is like, yes, my dear. Now Charming will know the pain that I felt. Lancelot is horrified. So in the Enchanted Forest, Snow and Emma head out with Mulan. They're trying to find the wardrobe. So they have to go back to Snow's castle, which is Emma's home. Jefferson's daughter, Grace, has been making flyers to try to find him, but he's too scared to go to her. Henry comes to try to get him to help with the portal situation. Jefferson's like, kid, I already told your grandpa I can't help you, but he does tell Henry about Regina's vault. Henry tells him that he's been left too, and the worst part of it was not knowing why. So Jefferson doesn't need to be afraid of Grace. He just needs to go and tell her the truth, and they can start over together. Regina is packing up the office, and Henry calls and is like, can we have lunch? And she's like, oh my God, yes, absolutely, I'll be right there. She rushes out, but then he breaks in and steals her skeleton keys. So the king's guard dumps Snow White back into the camp where they found her, but then Lancelot comes and he tells her that he thinks it's dishonorable what the king did and he wants to help her. He knows that the king sent men to go attack the cabin where Charming's mother is, and Charming is there, so they frantically rush off. At the cabin, yes, Charming gets attacked, okay, but he absolutely bodies these men, all right? He straight up snaps somebody's neck. There's no blood in this show, but I forgot he was gonna do that. And I was like, with your bare hands? Just out in the open? And then we see that his mom got shot with an arrow because she didn't listen and she came outside because she was afraid he was gonna be hurt. Girl, what were you gonna do? Watch? What were you thinking? Snow and Lancelot arrive, so the women get to meet. It's really sweet and really sad. The arrow was poisoned, so they realize that they have to rush off to that lake. Remember the one that Charming helped Catherine with and they turned her prince back into not gold? They're going there now. Mulan, Emma, and Snow camp for the night, okay? Aurora shows up, she attacks Snow White. Snow White bodies her and is like, listen here, princess. I didn't kill Philip, okay? I'm also missing my husband. Back off! Mulan shows up and stops them from killing each other, and then Emma shows up and fires her gun, which signals the ogres. They split up into two groups. Emma gets separated from Snow because she falls down, but before the ogre can crush her to death, Snow shoots it in the eye. Charming, back in the flashbacks, wants to know why Lancelot and Arthur aren't together anymore, and Lancelot is like, oh, it's because of a girl. We're gonna get to that later. Snow is walking with the wagon where his mom is, kind of taking care of her as she's like in and out of consciousness. She tells her that getting to see Snow is the most important thing because Charming always wanted to be a father and a husband, and so this is everything. She has this special family heirloom necklace that apparently if you hold it over a woman's hand, it will tell the sex of her baby even before she's had it, but when they hold it over Snow's hand, it doesn't move at all. So Snow tells her that she's been cursed. And the mom is like, that's okay. We're going to this lake. The waters that are going to heal me will probably also heal you. They get to the lake though, and it is dry. Aurora is slowing down the traveling party, but then Emma is nice and gives her her jacket because she's cold. I really like that Aurora is so feminine, okay? She's bad at fighting. She is not good at being in the woods. She doesn't care. She's not afraid to admit it. She's just gonna tell you like it is. Serena Skyborn just did a video kind of breaking down everything that went wrong, and she mentioned how nice it is that Aurora is just unapologetically feminine, and I would have to agree. It is kind of cool, because we have the princesses like Snow White that are just like badass and awesome, but it's nice to see the other ones that are like, no, I am the damsel in distress. I'm distressed at all times. You should check out Serena's channel if you haven't. I will link it down below. She did like a whole giant series on the Pretty Little Liars universe, and now she's moving on to Once Upon a Time. So if you're watching these recaps, it might be nice to go check out those as well, just as like two different types of talking about the show, if you're interested. Henry finds the vault and then the secret passage under his Grandpa Henry's grave. When he gets down there, now we can hear the hearts beating away inside all the boxes. He uses a key to unlock a special box. It's the box with the vipers in it, but thankfully Charming shows up and saves him. Regina figured out his plan, but she didn't come because she knew that Henry probably wouldn't go with her. At the dried up lake bed, Lancelot finds a shell with one tiny little mouthful of water left. His mom obviously wants Snow to drink it because she says that parents always put their children first, but Snow refuses. So his mom drinks the water and tells Snow that they will find another way. Because magic is gone, it didn't even work, so his mom is still dying. She says that she'll gladly give up her life if it means that he will be happy, and the only thing that she's sad about is missing the wedding. So Snow is like, Lancelot, I know you don't work for Arthur anymore, but can you still perform a wedding? And he's like, my girl, yes I can. They get married in the show and in real life. Oh my God. So his mom dies right after they start kissing, and there's a wind that blows like right at the same time. It is so magical and sweet, and just, it's so important to me. It's the best scene. The girls get to the castle and find Emma's nursery. It hurts both of them to see it. They find the wardrobe, but it's too big to carry. And then, surprise, surprise, Lancelot shows up and is like, I can help you. He's a little too interested in the wardrobe. Snow asks why, and he says, well, I just want you to get back to your husband and Henry as quickly as possible. Snow attacks because the only person Emma told Henry's name to was Cora. Yeah, turns out Cora killed Lancelot, and she's just been pretending to be him in order to get the people to trust her. So Emma burns the wardrobe, taking away Cora's chance of escape, but also meaning that they can't leave either. In the flashbacks, Charming's obviously very sad, but he's also happy and excited to start a new life with Snow. He tries to give her the necklace from his mom, saying that, you know, oh, it's this like superstitious thing, like apparently it can tell us what kind of baby we're gonna have. Do you wanna see? Before she can like get him to stop and tell him about the curse, she realizes that it is swinging, okay? She turns to Lancelot and is like, you put the water in our cup that you had us drink from during the wedding ceremony. Ruth didn't even drink the water. And Lancelot is like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So, what kind of baby you gonna have? And Emma's like, and Snow's like, it's gonna be a girl. Emma in the nursery tells Snow that she was angry for so long, but now she can see everything that Snow gave up for her. She cries and says she's not used to people putting her first, and that's what she's struggling with. And Snow is like, okay, well, get used to it. And she gives her a big hug. As they go to leave, Snow turns back and looks at the nursery and sees it like as it was supposed to be, and she cries. And then Cora shows back up, sweeps the ashes into a little potion bottle, and they start to glow. Jefferson goes to pick up Grace from school, and she is so happy to see him. She jumps into his arms. He collapses in the street holding her. Oh my God. Henry is watching this happen. Charming comes up to him and is like, I think it's about time you started learning how to do certain things, seeing as how you're the grandson of a prince. And he pulls out 2 wooden practice swords and says that he's gonna teach Henry all the things that he always wanted to teach him. And then, just to ruin it, the evil king is watching from a car in Storybrooke, so he's been there the whole time. Y'all get a bonus episode because when I realized what episode 4 was, I was like, oh, I deserve it. It's like a little treat. I get to talk about my man. Finally. This one is called The Crocodile. In the present, Rumpel gives Belle a necklace because he wants to take her on a little date and show her around town. She thanks him for trying to change for her. Grumpy comes in looking for his axe. Rumpel won't give it to him, so he turns on Belle and yells at her about how gross it is that she's in love with a monster. So Rumpel shoves him up against a wall and threatens to kill him. It's actually a nightmare, and Belle wakes up in bed scared and alone. She goes outside and sees Rumpel down in the basement working on magic. We get a flashback of Rumpel in his village again. But this is when he came home from the war, okay? So he's still a human, Bay is younger, and his wife Mila is still in the picture. She's not home though. So they go out and find her drinking in a tavern with a bunch of pirates, including this guy. Oh my god. So yeah, Mila hates Rumpel, okay, because he's the village coward. He like hurt himself to come home. She does not see it as a good thing. She thinks he's gross and stupid and lame. She doesn't want to come home with him, but then she realizes that Bay is there. So she's like, oh, that's right, I'm a mother, and she leaves. Back home, Rumpel is like, you don't really wish I had died in the war, do you? Like, what the heck was that about? And she's like, well, I just wish you had fought. So it's not enough for her that he came home to help with Bay because the war was pointless and he just wanted to be with his wife and kid. That's not enough for her. She does say though, what if we just leave? What if we leave, we start over outside this village where people don't know us? But Rumpel is too afraid of doing that. So he's like, can you at least just try? If not for me, for Bay, and she agrees. Back in the present, Rumpel comes inside after a night of making potions in the basement. Belle is waiting up for him. He tells her he was just practicing a few spells and she doesn't need to worry. But he won't tell her why. She says he doesn't need more power, okay? He needs courage to finally let her in. In the flashbacks, a woman comes running up to Rumpel's door and frantically tells him that the men that were docked in port are leaving and they've kidnapped Mila. He goes to the ship to confront them, and he officially meets Captain Killian Jones. This man right here. Let me be so real with you right now, okay? He is terrible, 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 bad, evil man. Do not get it twisted when I tell you that I love him. He is the scum of the earth right now as we are meeting him. He stays sleeping with married women. He's stealing, he's killing. He doesn't care about anyone but himself and kind of sort of his crew and ship, but mostly just himself. He is in general a complete and total menace to society. And yet I love him. He also, on top of all of this nonsense, has this weird code of honor. So he tells Rumpel that he's happy to fight for Mila, but Rumpel is too afraid to even pick up the sword. So Killian is like, a man that refuses to fight for what he wants deserves what he gets. The dwarves are working in the mines and we get to see Charming in a tank top, swinging the pickaxe into the wall. Cinema. Also, Charming's gonna be sheriff now until they get Emma back. Rumpel goes to check on Belle, but she left out the window and ran away. So he goes to her dad because he's like, maybe that's where she went. He's been keeping them from finding each other, which is sick and twisted. Her dad is like, thanks to you, now we both don't know where she is. We then see a flashback of Dark One Rumpel with his crocodile skin. He meets a guy with a red beanie. He's come to find Rumpel because he says that he has access to a magic bean and he knows Rumpel wants a portal. That kind of magic, remember, is gone from the Enchanted Forest, but the Red Beanie Man happens to know that sometimes the men that come into port have been to lands where that magic is still existing, and he could get a bean. He doesn't want money. He just wants Rumpel to make him immortal. Rumpel's like, I can't do that, but I can turn back the clock and make you a little boy again. And Red Hat Man is like, absolutely 10 out of 10 sounds great. Let me go get you that bean. And then we see Killian come into the tavern to meet his crew, and Rumpel is like, on second thought, I will not be leaving. Things have just gotten 10 times more interesting. Ruby and Belle are bonding at the diner. Belle admits that she's thinking about breaking up with Rumpel, but she doesn't tell Ruby that she's dating Rumpel because obviously Ruby would freak out. She doesn't have family though, so she doesn't know where she'll go if she leaves him, and Ruby's like, you'll come here. I will have Granny give you a room. Belle says what she really needs is a job, so Ruby sends her over to the library because the only thing that Belle really knows how to do is books. This Barbie's job is books. She goes over to peek inside, and then Red Hat Beanie Man shows up and kidnaps her. Dark One Rumpel goes after Killian. He actually runs into him like on accident on the street, and Killian kicks him to the ground, and after seeing his skin is like, oh, I thought you were a beggar. I thought you were homeless. Turns out you're just a disgusting crocodile. I told you, scum of the earth. He's not a good guy. Then Rumple reveals himself, and Killian's like, oh my god, I know who you are. But also it's rough, because now, obviously, Rumpelstiltskin has Dark One magic, so Killian's a little scared. He's shaking in his leather boots. The crew backs off. The crew's like, oh, you're on your own, Captain. We're out of here. And they just immediately leave. So if that doesn't tell you what you need to know, okay, his crew doesn't even care enough about him to, like, stay and fight. They're like, oh, we're out. Bye. Rumple wants to know how Mila is. Killian says he doesn't remember her. And then when Rumple pushes him, he's like, okay. She died, bro. Rumple is like, I don't even care about that anymore. I just want to fight you. We're gonna have a duel at dawn, okay? Get your affairs in order, because I'm gonna kill you. Back in the present, Rumple comes to Charming to ask him to help find Belle. He can't track her with magic because he doesn't have anything of hers to use for the spell. Charming agrees to help because he is a golden retriever and he knows the pain since he's missing Emma and Snow. The Dark One meets back up with Killian to fight him for the duel. He takes Killian's sword and makes him use one of his other ones because he's like, I couldn't pass up the opportunity to kill you with your own blade. Killian is great at fighting, okay? But remember, Rumple has magic, so he's cheating, all right? But they're fighting. Rumple ends up besting him, and Killian's like, go ahead, I'm ready for the sword. But then Rumple puts it down and is like, actually, I think I'm gonna rip out your heart so that you know what it feels like when you lose the woman you love. And then Mila shows up to stop him, dressed like a pirate. The Red Beanie Man kidnapped Belle for her dad. They get to reunite, and he's so upset that he let Belle go, and he didn't keep her safe, and he didn't keep her away from Rumple. And she's like, no, Dad, you don't understand. I was with Rumple because I love Rumple. And he's like, oh, my poor child, you have Stockholm Syndrome. Do what you have to do. And he gives her back to Red Beanie Man, and Red Beanie Man takes her away. Charming is struggling to find people that will help find Belle, because literally everyone in the town has been terrorized by Rumple at some point, so nobody wants to help. Rumple ends up asking Charming how exactly things work between him and Snow, and Charming's like, you want relationship advice from me? Oh my god, you pathetic little man. Honesty, okay? It's hard work and being honest with each other. Try it sometime. In the flashbacks, Rumple lets Killian go and turns to Mila. She won't run and leave Killian behind. She explains that she fell in love with him and she didn't know how to tell Rumple the truth, so she ran away. He's like, oh, okay, I didn't realize this was about true love. I couldn't possibly kill him. No, you know what, actually? I would love nothing more. And he goes to kill Killian again. But Mila says that she has a magic bean, and she will give it to him if he will let her and Killian go. Rumple's like, fine, but I want to see it first. Once Charming promises Ruby that he will help keep Belle safe from Rumple and make sure the relationship is like okay, she tells them that she sent Belle over to the library. They can't use the jacket that Belle left behind because it's technically Rumple's jacket and she was borrowing it. But because magic came back, Ruby's wolf senses are back, and she uses her sense of smell to take them to the flower shop that Belle's dad owns. He admits that he sent Belle to be sent over the town line so that she will forget Rumple entirely. Charming realizes that there's mine dust on the dad's hand, so they must have been down there in the tunnels, and they race off to find Belle. Back on the ship, Mila has like helped carry Killian back. She's quickly like, okay, crew, do this, this, and this, get the captain water, and they're all taking her orders because she's basically Killian's wife. He's like, oh, how nice, I'm so glad you finally got the family and the adventurous life that you wanted. She shows him the bean and is like, do we have a deal? And he's like, perhaps, just because I can see that you're truly in love. Then he starts throwing a magical tantrum because he wants to know how she could ever have left Bae behind. She says she's sorry and she was the coward and she knows she messed up. And he's like, that's not enough. You let him go. So obviously, like what's happening here on top of all his heartbreak, he's also experiencing a little bit of PTSD because he let Bae go too. So they both failed their son. She then gets so angry that she says she never even loved him. So he rips out her heart. Killian catches her. She looks up at him and says, I love you. And then Rumple crushes her heart in his hands. Killian attacks him and is like, you may be more powerful now, but you're no less a coward. So Rumple is like, deals off homie. He cuts off Killian's hand that was still holding the bean and then decides to leave Killian alive so that he can suffer just like he did when Mila was taken from him. Killian attacks him with a hook that he finds on the deck, but it doesn't do anything. Rumple's like, it's gonna take more than that. Killian goes, even demons can be killed. And Rumple's like, I sure hope you live long enough to figure it out and try. Killian picks up the hook, looks at Mila's dead body, and accepts his fate. The Red Beanie Man puts Belle into a mining cart and sends her off to fly over the town line. He gives her a key because she's chained like with handcuffs into the cart, but when she goes to get it, she's obviously like rattling around in the cart so badly that she drops it. She is barreling towards the edge of town, and then suddenly she gets grabbed by magic and pulled back. So Rumple saved her, and while she's thankful for that, she's also still upset with him. So her dad is like, wonderful, come home with me. And she's like, no, I'm upset with you too. She's pissed that neither of them will just listen to her and do what she wants. They're always overprotective and overbearing and trying to do things for her instead. She tells them that she doesn't want to see either of them ever again. So Ruby helps Belle get settled into a room at the diner. Then she gives her a key to the library that someone dropped off. When she gets there, Rumple is there because obviously he gave her the key. There's an apartment above the library for the caretaker too, so she can live there if she wants. He explains that he isn't doing it in order to win her back, but he does want her to know that he knows she's right, and he is a coward. He's been a coward all his life. He doesn't know how to be anything else. He ends up telling her about the fact that he lost Bae and admitting that he's looking for him, and that's why he brought magic over. But obviously, magic always comes with a price. So the price this time was that now you can't leave without forgetting who you are, so he can't go looking for Bae. So now he's just trying to break a new curse all over again. He goes to leave, she stops him, she invites him on a date because she does love him and she wants them to start over and try again. Girl, you had an out. You had such a good out, why didn't you take it? We go back to Dark One Rumple, opening up Hook's hand to get the bean, but it isn't there. He tricked him. So Killian still has the bean. They're on board the Jolly Roger. They give Mila a pirate funeral and throw her overboard. Red Beanie Man wants the bean back from Killian, but Killian's like, here's the thing, I can either kill you, or in exchange for you giving me the bean, I can give you place on my ship. Red Beanie Man's like, what good's that gonna do me? Killian's like, oh, I'm taking us to a land where none of us will ever grow old and die. And Red Beanie Man, who is Mr. Smee, by the way, he tells him that now. He's like, 10 out of 10, I would love to stay, this is great. Killian's obviously going because he wants to live long enough to figure out how to beat Rumple. He throws the bean into the sea. It opens a portal that's gonna just suck up the ship and all the crew. He snaps his hook into place and starts like steering the ship. Mr. Smee is like, where are we going, Captain? What's the name of this land? Killian looks up and goes, Neverland. He is everything to me. Rumple goes back down into the basement and we see that he has Smee trapped down there. He's such a lying liar. If my videos teach you anything, it's that this man cannot be trusted, okay? Even when I'm acting like you should be trusting him, do not, because I'm lying to you too. He wants to know more about Killian and where he is, and Smee is like, look, homie, I have no idea. The curse didn't take him. I've never seen him in Storybrooke before. So we go back to the Enchanted Forest, okay? Remember, that's where Emma and Snow are. Hook meets up with Cora. She shows him the sparkly ashes of the wardrobe and is like, looks like we're on our way to going home. She's trying to get back to Regina. He's trying to get back to the crocodile, and we're all in trouble. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's bedtime story. If you did, don't forget to like the video and comment down below. I love talking to you guys each week. I have been waiting to talk about Hook, okay? I forgot he showed up so early. That's why we did a bonus episode, because I was like, I can't wait any longer. So don't worry, I'm gonna be even more excited to be watching now, because now he's involved. Once we get to the Neverland storyline, oh, I will never shut up. I will never stop talking. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you guys so soon. Have a good one. Bye.